wet. That's all I can say, wet. Everything is wet. However, I think we might have finally found a spot in time when wet's gonna go away, replaced by the dry. And we're talking rain here, man. Talking to neighbors, been here for a while, and they say the same thing. It ain't been no rain like this before. The rain does a lot of good, but it does a lot of damage, not to just structure, but to plants. Over here, you can see what's left of my strawberries. Now this here is a brand new bed, and it seems to be in good shape. This bed was growing like a weed. It was the greatest thing. And it was also the biggest harbinger of freaking fungus. Yes, fungus. It's a nasty, nasty word. This one here, same thing, fungus. Fungus took over, and I've had to thin it, trying to save it. This one I haven't even started on yet, but as you can see, it's overgrown. And I've checked into it, and yes, it has fungus as well. So what I'm gonna have to do is thin it out, trim it up, get rid of all the fungus infection, and then I'll use my old school fungicide. I don't like poisons. I don't like anything you buy from those stores. So what I do is I use baking soda, soda bicarbonate, whatever you want to call it. Basically mix it up as a spray, and I use, for 1 quart, you use 1 teaspoon. I do a gallon, so obviously 4 teaspoons. And a little bit of soap, and she'll stick great. That changes the pH, and the pH is controls the fungus. So that's what we're gonna do here. We've got 1 bed left to do that we've already tore apart the other beds. And yeah, they look horrible, don't they? Just bloody horrible. But what am I gonna do? Everything bolted. I'm gonna give you an example over here. In the main bed, yes, we'll go into why the boxes are off in a few minutes. But first, let's go over here and talk about busting it up. These are garlic. And as you can see, we've got weird growth going on here. Again, too much water, plant not regulating itself. Here we've got regular onions. Weeds are just atrocious. Asparagus bed. What do you think of that? That's a hell of an asparagus bed, isn't it? Holy smolies. Beans are doing good. They didn't mind the water. We've gotten a lot of beans off of them. Now this guy here, as you can see, keeps bolting. Flowers. Yeah, and I shouldn't pick them off like that. I need to go down in. But as you can see, this thing is going quite large. I've got the same problem over here with this guy. He's got 1,000,000 leaves, but they're not that big. I got to get in there, but I can't thin it, because if I thin it, that'll make it want to grow more. Lettuce over here bolting. Got some pretty flowers over there. That's my dad bed. Roses, baby, roses. Everybody likes a good rose. Got more beans. They're doing all right. These guys here are getting a little bolty too. I'm gonna have to take that down. This is a cilantro. Like that for our Mexican food. There's some basil. Over here we got some basil. and I believe parsley. Yeah, that's parsley. Basil and parsley. Now, I keep my beds covered all year long when it comes to cabbage because I don't want the cabbage to worm, and I don't want the worms. So as you can see, maybe. Hang on. All three are about the same. But as you can see in here, that's a good looking plant. I've got a red cabbage over here. It's doing quite well. Very nice, very nice. Minimal damage by any bugs. So that's a good thing. I've got 3 of them. Yeah, here's another asparagus bed. The basil isn't too happy about the water, I don't think. This is dill. I think she's okay, but the basil isn't looking so swell. I've got a specimen in the greenhouse that looks a lot better. Over here we've got half onion, and these are Ebenezer whites. And then over here we've got African daisies, black-eyed Susans, just some flowers. I like attracting the bees. Of course, that's going to definitely attract bees. The chives up there went nuts. These are peppers in these tomato cages. Oh, I always cage my peppers. That's a tomato up there, and that tomato is a pear, yellow pear. And the little guy next to him that I just planted not too long back is a sweet 100, but that was a what I call gifted. It's from last year's crop. So the water has done some good, but a lot of damage too. Over here, what I was talking about earlier, I had to peel this back. I've got moles like you wouldn't believe. They're terrible. They're everywhere. So I have these little gummy worms by Wildcat that seem to work pretty good. I know I started this thing out by saying I don't like poisons. I don't like buying that shit from the store, but I've tried trapping. I've tried those silly little noise things. Nothing gets to them. And when they're under this tarp, they have free reign. Out here, they're not so bad. But under these tarps, both this one and that one, they go ballistic. So I've had to go ahead and resort to poison. I hate the thought of that, and it's not in the beds, it's in the walkways. So I'm not gonna plant into the little gummy worms. These guys seem like they're coming along, but they do have some molds on them. And again, I think that's from all the rain. It's a rose mallow coming up here. Yeah, let's get a little better picture. Sorry about that. Rose mallow. These 3 guys right here are spaghetti squash. They'll take over this whole area eventually. Up here, this is a Featherburton, Helleburton. It's a Philibburton. It's a nut tree. My apple tree. There is an apple or 2, believe it or not. Over here, we've actually opened these. These are zucchini, and as you can see, they ain't doing so well. Don't know why. I'm gonna assume again, too much water. This is another nut tree. But this is my zucchini, and I'm hoping that with the advent of this new sun coming out, that things get better. So that's a little quick tour of the water inflicted damage I've gotten from all this rain. All my water tanks are full. My backup tanks are full. There's no place else to store it, so let's just stick to the sunshine for a little while. All I want's an inch of rain a week. That's all I ask, nothing more. Now, folks, I've got to get started on this. And it will end up looking like this. Let's all hope that she comes back. I think they will. They're pretty vigorous strawberry. We're getting started here. You can see a strawberry there, believe it or not. It's all furry. Yeah, let me see if I can get a better. Here's one here. This is your typical strawberry. As you see, it's starting to go up the stem. This is the nasties. That's the fungus. It's all in here. This went from a beautiful bed to a slimy bed. So that's what we got to do. So we got to get rid of all the slimy that's growing in here. See if we can reinvigorate it. We'll get back to it.